Hello everyone, welcome back to Automation and BeamNG Drive. My name is Tim, and today we're going to be building the BMW M5, particularly the new one, the G90 M5. Now you might be wondering, why am I going to be building a BMW? Well, simple. We're building a new one because, first off, the real life version weighs like 5,300 pounds, but yeah. Enough with that. We're just gonna give it the heaviest things possible. Steel, 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 everything. And now let me introduce to you the engine. This is our glorious 4.4 liter twin turbo V8 used in the real thing, but this one makes about 25 more horsepower, all things considered. Now let's run it. Overall, it runs pretty well, and now it's time to work on the drivetrain. We're going to do all-wheel drive, whichever transmission is the heaviest, which, wait a minute, it might actually be dual clutch. I remember dual clutch is pretty darn heavy, so whichever one's the heaviest, we're going to use that one. And you might be wondering, if I'm trying to build a better M5, why am I trying to make it heavier than the one that we got? Well, simple. I'm trying to prove a point that this car, despite being heavier and only having marginally more power, it is still faster. Yeah, we're going to give it radial tires. I'm not entirely sure which type. Yeah, we're going to do sports compound and all that. And this is going to be a ridiculously heavy car. It's going to make it's going to be comparable to the Sonata, which is a full-sized luxury saloon sedan thing. Yeah, that thing is built for comfort and maximum everything. And of course, it's obviously heavy. It needs to be really, really strong and high quality. This thing is a sports car that's supposed to be able to go around the track, down the drag strip, all sorts of other stuff like that. And it's a BMW. It needs to be driven as if a BMW driver is driving it. So basically, it needs to be driven like an absolute maniac. That is the thing this thing must be able to do, and it also must be a threat to any pedestrian because, first off, BMW made the XM, which is a 6,000-pound hybrid V8 SUV that they made, which actually has about the same amount of power as this thing. Yeah, that one has about 738. This has about, well, 740 or so. And yeah, that was all the stuff that we added there, giving it obviously carbon ceramics in the front and the back. We're just going to give it normal brakes, all things considered, not adjusting it for race type. We're going to give it a sport under tray, cooling flaps. We're going to give it good aerodynamics for airflow. And, yeah, so this is a little confusing. I'm not even sure what the real BMW M5's aerodynamics is, but I think it's probably around like 3.2. No, not 3.2. That would be horribly inefficient. 0.32. And yeah, now for the interior, we're going to make it as heavy as possible. Handmade, luxury everything. And, oh no, we're going to give them a little bit of interior quality. After all, this thing is going to be like well over 100,000. Okay, we're going to give it variable hydraulic. It's heavy, but it's also more reliable than just regular hydraulic. We're going to give it the heaviest everything for safety. And let's see. Okay, this thing is already 5,000 pounds. I think we can definitely do better. Because if BMW managed to make a super sedan weigh approximately as much as a Bentley Bentayga, we can do better. And let's see. Oh, yeah, we're almost as close as them. And we added an extra seat. Okay, let's lower the quality, and I think we're officially heavier. Okay, let's see. We're just going to lower the quality on everything. We got the heaviest of everything, obviously. And, wait a minute. I'm thinking real quick. I'm trying to think which transmission is the heaviest. I'm fairly certain it is dual clutch, but yeah, we're just currently modifying everything just to be that ever so slightly bit heavier. We're going to give it heavy transmission, active stuff, so it's computers, electrical stuff, all sorts of stuff. We're going to make the suspension just high enough that it has some quality, and we are already over 100 pounds heavier than the G90 M5 at 5,400 pounds. This thing is heavy. The engine makes way too much power, but that's also because I put in the wrong engine. And now, let's go to the customization. I'm, of course, giving it its iconic BMW wheels, and also, this is not going to be based off of solely the G90 M5. It's going to be based off of some of the older M5s, like the previous generation, the older ones. I don't know their number name, like how I know G90. I don't know those for every BMW generation. But one thing I do know is that I can recognize them at the very least. I recognize what they look like to some extent, and that's about it. I recognize... one thing I know is this is the first M5 to be a hybrid. Yeah, that's one thing I know about it. Now, my goal for this vehicle right here is to basically be a hybrid between basically all the M5 BMWs. And yeah, we got our little badges on there. Pretty nice. This thing right here is supposed to be a hybrid between all of them. It's probably going to resemble some of the newer BMWs more than it does the older ones. But I'm still going to try to include some elements of the older ones at the very least. And also, I'm not exactly very well versed in my BMW M5s, so if I get any information wrong, I am sorry about that, and I did not mean to do that to any of the BMW M5 enthusiasts out there. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this. We're just going to continue with the building process, all things considered. We're working on the interior now. We're going to give it a blue floor right there. Some door panels. We're going to give it these, no, not those seats. We're going to give it some bucket seats instead. We're going to give it some red. I think we're probably going to give it some blue and stuff like that. Maybe a different shade, though, because I want them to match the BMW M colors. And yeah, if you're wondering, I made them a purple-like color in order to match some of the colors for BMW. I'm not exactly a big BMW guy, if you couldn't tell, but what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to build a better BMW M5 than the one we got. And look at this vehicle already. It's looking pretty good. I'll show you when we're done. Yeah, it's finally done. And let me tell you something, I think it's actually kind of beautiful. I really would use the word beautiful to describe this thing. It's not the prettiest looking car I've ever made, but it's definitely up there. It's a pretty nice looking car. And now, let's go to BeamNG Drive! 3, 2, 1, let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Okay, we're doing pretty good, pretty darn good for something that weighs 5,700 pounds. Yes, I got this thing all the way up to 5,700 pounds, if you're wondering. And yes, I did put that dual clutch transmission in there, as I said I would earlier. But for something that weighs so much, it drives surprisingly well. And yeah, that was not a good example of good driving. Our opponent is already in front of us, and due to this thing weighing as much as the CY's Giant, this thing is probably not going to be able to keep up at all. Just, why did I make this thing heavier? Why couldn't I make it lighter or something like that? Why couldn't I? But no, I had to prove a point that I was going to make a car heavier than BMW's current car, so of course I had to make it heavier. Why did I do that? I did it because, I don't know, I'm probably stubborn or something like that. But so far, we're doing pretty good around this track right now. We are going through the sand pretty well. This thing handles really good in a straight line. It doesn't feel like it's going to, you know, turn a different direction. Turning could definitely be improved upon. And yeah, let's go as fast as we can. Nice, we crossed the line. And, well, this is what we got. We got 1 minute and 22 seconds. Not bad, but compared to that Turbine Thrasher wagon I made, pretty pathetic. Pretty pathetic. And now, here we are in Italy at the airstrip. Yeah, there's a little bit of glitching in the car's texture and all. But let's go! And we're gonna take this thing down on a top speed run. Down the actual runway. And yeah, we're probably not going to reach top speed. We're probably going to reach close to it, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I mainly just want to drive this thing all the way to the end. And yeah, that's what it sounds like in the fourth person mode. No, third person. And let's go! Now, we're racing against that aforementioned turbine thrasher wagon right there. That is a beautiful car, all things considered. It is gorgeous, and let's go! Okay, yeah, of course we're gonna lose. That thing can pull, I want to say, an 8.6 second quarter mile, despite having less horsepower than us. It has like 150 less, which is pretty crazy, all things considered. But I still think we're doing pretty darn good right now. Let's see. 12 seconds flat, basically. Not, oh wait, that wagon, turbine thrasher wagon, that was an 8.3 second quarter mile, which is even more insane. They probably crashed, but yeah, our reaction time was half a second. That's not good at all. And now we're gonna race against the B8, a car that I don't feature a lot in these videos, but I'm still gonna race it anyway because it's cool. And let's see. And yeah, I remember that thing doing a wheelie once. That's how much power it has in such a small little engine. It has a 1.8 liter V8 that makes, I kid you not, 282 horsepower, which in a normal car is a decent amount, but in something the size of a smart car, it's absolutely insane. 11.7 seconds. That is really good. That is really good right there. That is actually kind of phenomenal, all things considered. And we're just so much larger than them. Our reaction time was worse, but we still got a better time. And now we're going to be racing against our peasant base model doppelganger. They probably couldn't even afford this beautiful green paint we have. They probably had to settle for white or black. That was probably their only other options. And let's go! Okay, we're doing pretty good. This is kind of tense. We need to surpass them. We need to surpass them right now. Okay, we are almost the entire car is ahead of them. Almost the entire car. Okay, I think we did it. 11.65 seconds. That's pretty darn good. Now we're just gonna slow down and see who really won, because I remember doing these once where I got the better time, but yet they won for some reason. And exactly a third of a second, nice. Now we're gonna be going against the Madwagon, that Mad Max Desert Roamer vehicle I made. They have about, I want to say, 5 times as much power as us, but they're also not as good on the drag strip. They're much better out in the open, out in the wild, out doing whatever a Mad Max Desert Roamer does. Just going out in the wild and stealing things, causing trouble. That's probably what they do, all things considered. And let's see. Oh, we did even better this time. 11.63 seconds. Nice. Very nice. And yeah, they're probably going to take a long time. So I'm probably going to turn around and just check on them, all that. Just make sure they didn't crash into a wall, because there's always the possibility of that happening. That is always something that can happen, and I want to make sure they didn't do that. Oh, they're actually up to speed. Nice, and that is actually a cool way to end a race. They're drifting. That is absolutely awesome, and I love that. I wish more cars would end races like that. Now we're going against the Devil 500, which is my Dodge Demon 170 evil twin, and of course we're gonna lose. That thing's based off of the Demon 170. That thing's a pretty darn fast car, and that thing is slightly faster, I believe, even though it has about the same amount of power and all that. So, yeah. And also, I like this interior, all things said and done. It's a nice interior. We got slightly worse, 11.64 seconds. We still did pretty good, they still did pretty good, and in all honesty, we all did really well today. We all did well going down the strip, except for that reaction time. That is horrible. Now we're going to be racing against the Morvan. It has 1900 horsepower from a pushrod V12, and yeah, there's absolutely no way we are beating that thing. Absolutely none. The only way we could beat it is if we had a turbine thrasher. Maybe the turbine thrasher wagon might be able to beat it. I'm not sure. I have never tried that out, and I don't actually know if I've never tried that out. I don't even remember if I've ever tried that out. We're not beating that with the turbine thrasher wagon. Absolutely not. Yeah, they're about 3.5 seconds down the quarter mile faster than us. Actually, no, they're a little more than 3.5 seconds faster than us. Now, we're going to be racing against one of the BeamNG cars. I don't know what the name of it is, but I know it's the drag variant. We're going to be racing against that thing right there, and hopefully we can keep up with them, and of course we can't. Of course we can't. We're so much heavier than them, and that's just really, really, really sad. Why can't we keep up with anyone? We have all this power going to all 4 wheels, but yet we cannot beat them. But yeah, that was a pretty cool view right there. We did really good right there. Nice, nice. I like watching this thing drive in third-person view. I think that's pretty cool. And let's see, our reaction time was garbage once more. I feel like all the time it is, and yeah, if you're wondering why we're lagging really bad right now, that's because there's a bus loading in. It's a rocket bus. That's what it is. It has those rocket engines on the back of it, and we're going to be trying to beat it in this drag race, which is probably not going to work. Oh my. We're already losing. In all honesty, one thing that I do appreciate is being able to watch the American flag on the back of that thing just wave around all wildly. It's cool, and it's also patriotic, and it's a fitting thing to put on the back of a rocket-powered bus. But yeah, that's not the best quarter mile time, but I'm just gonna continue going and going, and oh no, brake! Oh, if that happened in the rear, we would have gotten our M5 touring, and once again, our reaction time was terrible. Now, we're going to be racing against the Uno Musso because I like racing against this car. It's always a fair race, being, you know, multiple seconds faster than them. Their car still sounds better, but our car is faster, probably more comfortable. Actually, I take that back. Their car is probably far more comfortable than this. This thing probably is like some ridiculously stiff race car suspension in order not to bottom out at top speed. Because this thing, for as heavy as it is, needs a beefy suspension, and 16.5 seconds for them, nearly 13 for us. That is not very good. Not very good at all. That is actually kind of terrible now that I think about it. And let's see. I do like that this thing can drift. Nice. Quarter-second reaction time. And now, I think that we should do a little something else. We should just drive around and just enjoy Italy. But that's what I would do if I were driving a Mercedes-Benz, or if I were driving, you know, an Aston Martin, or something more civilized. No, we're driving a BMW, so we have to drive like a BMW owner. That's right, we need to drive like an absolute fool, an absolute maniac, and just overall a reckless teenager, because that's where most of the bad BMW drivers are. Just reckless teenagers who saved up enough money for their first quote-unquote sports car. It's basically always a 328i. That's basically every single teenager's first BMW. That is basically the quintessential I drive a BMW, and that's literally what it is. So we're going to be driving like them, driving like the crazy BMW owners who don't care about traffic, love cutting people off, drifting every chance they can, flooring any chance they can, because that's what we're doing. We're gonna live the proper BMW way. And of course, we're gonna drive on the wrong side of the highway because that is a BMW thing. In all honesty, if you're watching this, don't ever drive on the wrong side of the highway. That is a very efficient way to get yourself in a casket. Just don't ever do it. And so far, we're doing pretty good. We're going 150 miles per hour in our 5,700-pound sedan. And also, I might be correct about this. That was cool. That was cool. We just drove past there, all fast, didn't really crash that much. We only crashed a little bit. Like, what's a BMW without a couple of scratches and dents? But yeah, enough of that. I was gonna say something about the whole correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly certain this thing weighs about 100 pounds more than the Sonata, which is a full-sized luxury sedan that's designed to be as comfortable as possible. This thing is basically the same thing, but sport-oriented, and the engine in this thing is worse. I'm just gonna say it. The V12, the 9-liter V12 in that Sonata is absolutely incredible. It is the pinnacle of reliability. And yeah, one thing I love, driving through small towns going way above the speed limit. And yeah, if the rear end of that car while it was spinning, if it happened to hit another car, yeah, you could say goodbye to that car, but there's no way it's being repaired. And now, let's drive our little sedan in the perfect place. That's right! The beach. The perfect place to drive a 5,700-pound super sedan. Let's drive it through the water. Pretty nice. We didn't hydrolock. And one thing I hope when driving this thing, I hope our air filter in our engine bay doesn't just fill up with sand, because I remember watching one of the Top Gear specials, and that's why one of their cars didn't start, and yeah, just some casual BMW driving right there. Just some casual, normal driving. You know, we just lost a wheel. 'Tis but a scratch to a BMW owner. To the average BMW driver, more so, because there are plenty of BMW owners who do drive their cars well and not recklessly. We are not one of them. And let's keep going, nearly 100 miles per hour. Whee! And, yeah, I think it's safe to say, it's totaled. First off, the rear differential is sticking out the back. But enough of that. Let's do a top speed run, and here we go. We're doing good. We're already at 60 miles per hour. In fact, we're nearly at 100 miles per hour. And I really like the interior. The non-clear coat carbon fiber looks cool in my opinion, because I don't like overly shiny carbon fiber. It reminds me of shiny plastic, which is something I don't really like, considering that pretty much every car I've ever owned has had shiny plastic, and I wanted to try to avoid it in order to make this car feel more special. And we're already past 180 miles per hour. I think I remember reading that the new M5 has a top speed of 189 miles per hour, which we just destroyed. Seriously, BMW, what is wrong? Why can't you make a super sedan that goes this fast? Your car has enough power to do it. It's aerodynamic enough to do it. The hybrid should be allowed to help you get that fast. We're already at 200 miles per hour, 201, and we're doing pretty darn good right now. And we're at 202, nice, 203, and yeah, I'm probably going to speed this up at some point in order to just get us to our higher speed that we're desiring, to the speed that we want to go. And yeah, we're at 205 right now. Where's 206? Where's 206? Can we get to 206? Can we? Oh, I think we did. Yeah, we did. Okay, we're at 206. If we can reach 207, that will be incredible, because, oh yeah, we got 207. That is the same top speed as my turbine thrasher wagon. Same top speed as that thing, but we're already at 208. We're already at 208. This is incredible, and that is probably about as fast as we're going to be able to go. And yeah, let's just drift around and drive this thing. I'm not going to talk for much of it, just so you guys can listen to this thing, and it's kind of going to be your daily dose of ASMR or something like that. And now, let's go. That's all for your ASMR. Now, here we go to the jump arena. Yeah, we're gonna be ending the video right here by following a tradition that is time-honored and true. That's right, launching the car into some water. That's what we're gonna be doing with this one, and let's see. We're gonna be going as fast as we possibly can down this hill, and also, I'm just gonna say, I think this thing looks better than the new BMW. 250, 253, oh, that is awesome! And, oh my, this is cool! And yeah, that's pretty much all for today, and anyway, that's all, bye! Also, the M5 Touring, here we have it, right here. This is your M5 Touring.